Hello, welcome to our channel. Firstly, I wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas to you all. Due to current world's condition, due to COVID restrictions, it's probably really difficult time for many of us. A completely different Christmas from what we used to, so just try to cherish those little moments we have. Just try to be happy with what we have. And I just wanted to wish you Merry Christmas again. It is 26th of December after all today, so it's still the Christmas time, full on. And on this note, we will listen to The Pot today. We are still within the 10,000 Days album. My voice is definitely better than it was last week. I'm still not fully there though, so I'm gonna keep on my hat to keep my sinuses warm and cozy. Hopefully this will help. And it was a bit of a shame that I could not fully express myself on our last video. I couldn't really say everything that I wanted to say. I could literally barely speak. So hopefully today is going to be a bit better as well. There is one thing though I wanted to point out. As always, thank you so much for all your engagement and all your comments. You've actually pointed out some typo errors and mistake in the lyrics under the video. So the typo error that has been found is that it was actually in the 10,000 Days, so in Wings for Marie Part 2. That states burden of proof tossed upon the believers, not non-believers, as we've included in the video. Funny enough, which is actually a good thing, I had the correct lyrics opened in front of me after I've checked, so it must have been some wrong lyrics that we put in during fixing up the video, so apologies for it. As you know, the English is not our first language, and I can't always pick up the correct lyrics, even with lyrics in front of me, if that makes sense. But I'm quite happy that I had, the whole take on the song correctly, because I had the actual lyrics in front of me in the correct way. Keep pointing those things for us, because I will also like to know that I fully understood the song and I fully interpreted it, and I try to interpret the song the way it should be, and that was a biggie. Believers versus non-believers, that is quite a difference, isn't it? Especially in such an emotional, beautiful song that was so full of this emotional aspect, the believing aspect as well. That's it from me. Again, as always, thank you so much for your engagement. Thank you for all our patrons. If you would like to support us, the link will be under the video. And that's it from me. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, just one thing about the lyrics. I tried to re-upload the corrected video. The thing is, because of the copyright things, I wasn't able to do it properly. So for now it has to stay like this. We might add like annotation on the video.
Yeah, that can be a solution. It is quite a hassle, isn't it, to try to work the way around that. We're just gonna keep it as it is. That's how we put the video initially. But again, thank you so much, and keep pointing those things up. I think there was one more small typo in the lyrics pointed by somebody else, but again, it can happen. What matters is the way you feel it. It is a reaction video after all. And that's it from me. I'm really excited, as usually, for the new song that I will listen today, which is The Pot. And I'm also ready. I have the lyrics open, so let's do it. Here they are. I thought I don't have the lyrics after all, but yeah, they are right here in front of me.
Okay, so ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, let's do it.
Who are you to wave your finger? You must have been out your head. I hold deep in muddy waters. You practically raised the dead. Rob the grave to snow the cradle, then burn the evidence down. Soapbox house of cards and glass, so don't go tossing your stones around. You must have been high. You must have been
It's quite strong. Nice change. Dania.
Yeah.
Ah, what a nice song. It wasn't as emotional as Wings for Mary. It was really strong and I quite enjoyed it.
Very expressive.
Yeah, it was. It was also one of those where at times I felt like I've heard it before. It may be because I've heard you listen to this song sometime in the past.
Very possible.
Or is it possible that it was quite similar to something we've listened to before?
Schism.
You know, just the melody.
Is Schism a bit similar? Because it's like, at least for me, if I were to take the most similar song, it would be Schism, I guess.
I really, really like that. And this the start itself was also like really, really strong, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who are you to wave your finger? So it's call out for all the hypocrites, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. That would be my first guess. Another one would be like Manifesto for Freedom, something like that.
Ooh, I like this one. Yeah, or the manifest of the hypocrisy of the human nature as well.
Yeah, especially the part with the
Hmm.
finger is. It suggests. Sorry, now I have some throat problems. It suggests that it is about hypocrisy for sure, and
Yeah.
there's a couple of verses like that.
Yeah, shall we go from the beginning then? I really enjoyed the lyrical side as well, because it was strong. Like the thoughts in the song are quite expressive. So who are you to wave your fingers? You must have been out of your head. Like again, like expression of hypocrisy. I hold deep in muddy waters. You practically raised the dead. What this can mean?
For me, it means like you're drunk, like you do
Oh, okay.
bad thing, like muddy waters. Your eye hole is deep in muddy waters. You practically raised the dead. That's my.
Or high. Under the influence?
Later he sings,
some
"You must
substance,
have
maybe?
been high. You must have been high."
Exactly. Or your arguments are sold out of the outer space. That
Yeah.
you sound like a crazy person, or you sound like a drunk or hyper person, maybe.
It's deeper, I think. So, rob the grave to snow the cradle, then burn the evidence down. So it is like you do something bad, but then you present yourself like you haven't done anything bad, things like that. So, especially there's a verse about lying lawyers, things like that, which suggests, and it speaks to the hypocrisy part you mentioned. It is kind of about present. Is it called virtual signaling these days?
Oh, I think I know. Like this lie and fake and part of your nature, of your presence, the way you present yourself.
You present yourself as morally high, but then you're not really.
Because you must have been high. It's all a mirror. It's not the real you, isn't it? Let's go further down then. Till you pull it all out, you must have been so high. Still borrow, refer, save your shady inference. That's also a nice note here. But again, for me, it's still again this calling out this part of the hypocrisy, the part of the human nature that is two-faced, really two-faced. And the one that actually got me thinking first was the kangaroo done hung the juror with the innocent. Why do you think there's a kangaroo used?
I don't know. I know that there is something like kangaroo judge or kangaroo court. Is it?
Try to Google it, because to be honest, that's I never heard of this.
Yeah. So
Before?
kangaroo court, an
Oh, okay.
unofficial court held by a group of people in order to try someone regarded, especially without good evidence, as guilty of a crime or misdemeanor.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. I know this reference. I just didn't know that's the name for it. So when sometimes you're being judged by people without being proven guilty,
Exactly.
based on something you've done, even though they don't have the full knowledge of the circumstances, right?
Yeah.
And they perceive you as someone guilty, and you're basically prejudiced in their eyes completely.
Yeah, and
Oh, yes.
those verses about kangaroo, there are three of those. So first there is kangaroo done, hung the juror with the innocent. Now you're whipping shades of cousin and indigo. Then he sings, if I'm not mistaken, the same. But then it's getting interesting, and it says, kangaroo be stoned. He's guilty as the government. That's interesting one.
Yes, and then I've seen it as well. Kangaroo be stoned. He's guilty as the government. So it's also call out for the wider hypocrisy, not us as a humans, us as a groups or subgroups, and also us as the way the society works.
Yeah, so
Isn't it?
for me, always the first obvious meaning was something like hypocrisy around the marijuana use and alcohol use.
Okay.
So oftentimes drunk people like treat high people on weed as like drug users, something like that, while they are drug users as well, but they show their moral high ground by saying, oh, you're a drug user, you're lower than me. But in reality, they are drug users as well, maybe even worse or not. Depends on the context.
But it can refer to so many different things in
But I
terms
would
of
say this is like the first layer, but then you can abstract over
yeah.
more generic things.
Yeah, it's also, it can refer to kind of public shaming of
Yeah.
things that are not, you would say, socially acceptable,
But
where they
maybe-
should be maybe, or are some taboo subject or topic, right?
So something, would you say something like the crime with no victim, something that doesn't really hurt anybody, but is a crime and is a taboo, kind of? So there are a few examples like that, which are...
Even, things such as I don't want to, that's the thing, I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, but even alcoholism in certain regions of the world, there's not much of awareness of what alcoholism is, that it can be a disease and what it is causing. So it can be quite people who perceive themselves as drunk are usually actually, alcoholism, I think, is a good example, because even in what you think is a very developed society, it's still kind of a shaming topic, depending what part of the world are you from, or what part of the country or the town are you from. The people that you are surrounded by, they may not understand what it actually is, or any type of illnesses as well. So there is this kind of public shaming and misunderstanding of what it actually is. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't want to confuse.
I think so, but I think it's a slippery slope from going to go from basically, you can say any crime, you can put it as, you can put the fault not on the person who committed the crime, if you know what I mean. Like, so the person who steals, he might be stealing because he was poor and he had no chances to get better and things like that. Say great example would be like killers, like murderers. Some of them were very badly treated as a child, so maybe you cannot really point a finger at him because he was treated badly and so on. So I find it a slippery slope from like justifying everything.
Yeah, you're right as well. I don't know why I came up with the alcoholism as an example to this particular one. I think it's it should be actually something more striking out, like you said, like murder, for example, or stealing, but like on a big scale, some embezzlement, let's say. And who are you to wave your finger?
I think it's more about like this part. Who are you to wave your finger? Like it's almost like in the Bible, who's without the sin shall be the first to cast the stone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually a great comparison, and it can be actually about more general the religious hypocrisy as well, especially if we are still keeping up with the tone of the previous songs. Obviously, I've heard some voices already that only these two songs, Wings for Mary Part 1 and Part 2, are about, and are a direct reference to religion, to the hypocrisy of the group of the church congregate, etc. But it can refer to this as well, actually, and to any other, societal groups. Again, it can be, radical lefts or radical rights as well. If you're looking at the political perspectives, right, there can be literally the same references and it can be still valid. Even in the school groups, and the school, and in the actual primary schools, among pupils, obviously they wouldn't understand it fully probably, or unconsciously also follow this pattern and be in this liar lawyers. Who are they to do so? That's so good.
And to that point, I just found out the pot calling the kettle black is a proverbial idiom that may
Mhm.
be of Spanish origin, of which English version began to appear in the first half of 17th century. And
Okay.
basically it means pointing the bad thing about the other person, that you have this bad thing as well.
So again, the hypocrisy essentially.
Yeah, that's
Another
it.
word
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
of course. Yeah, yeah. It's just
Oh,
a
yeah.
fancy idiom for that. So I guess there's more of the
Hmm.
hypocrisy calling throughout the song. Maybe that's it. Maybe
Yeah.
that's hypocrisy calling.
Maybe we should just keep it on this note. But then we can like start from hypocrisy, and we can get to so many things. We have the hypocrisy and the general I'd say criticism of the human nature and the hypocritical nature of the human beings. This people are being two-faced when are amongst other people, right? The hypocrisy of the variety, not just the Christianity or Catholicism, the variety of religions, the variety of ideas or societal groups. It can be also the calling out the hypocrisy of the world and the way we are functioning within the society.
So on that note, I would ask you: do you think it's about hypocrisy that is like is everyone being hypocritical knows that he's being hypocritical, or how often is this unconscious, and does it matter?
It definitely matter. Probably it can matter to many situations. It just matters. I would think, but I don't know whether and how often you are aware of it. I think the moment you start thinking of this, that's when you are realizing that you are the same person and it happens to you.
But what if we are all the same person, kind of? Like, we're all people, we all have the human nature. So it's almost like pointing out anything bad about others without being thorough, maybe, without
Yeah.
like proposing a solution, without proposing something to help, is kind of hypocrisy, because we are
Yeah.
all human beings.
And if it is indeed part of the human nature, then we can't escape it. And then each of us has the same struggles and is hypocritical in that sense. But I think the way I would look at the song, again, is going to depend on my mood. When I've listened to this one first, especially the start, it doesn't start with the musical intro. It starts right away, basically. Who are you to wave your fingers? So this struck out to me as an individual, and it made me thinking about my own hypocrisy. And then another thought I had was the alcoholism, which I'm not gonna go into detail as to the reasons why, but somehow that's what I've been thinking of. But I think the first thing, and the song, that the way it speaks to me, it's more generally about the individual hypocrisy, about your own hypocrisy, even if the author meant it for it to be the call out for the more general, the hypocrisy in the more general, more the bigger sense, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think. In any event, I quite like this because it literally tells like it is. Interestingly, I don't think it is about addictions of various type. I know he says on, and he keeps coming back. You must have been high. You must have been so high.
What if
You must have been high. But I think it's kind of a metaphor.
Yeah, what if you are morally high? Like, you think you're so good, you must be high, morally high.
Or even, why are you judging me that I am high when your actions are present the same level of being high as under actual substance? Some people lie, others use substance to be in certain state, for example. So it can be reference, to the addiction of or getting high, maybe not addiction, in this sense, which is so interesting, isn't it? But I personally, I didn't take it as the song about addiction being high. It's about something else. It's about this. I think, like you said previously, these two sentences are what's best and strike me out most. Liar, lawyer, mirror for you. What's the difference? Kangaroo be stoned. He's guilty as the government. And after you've explained what's the actual kangaroo court, did you say?
Yeah.
What does it mean? It speaks out to me even more. It's so great, and it's such a great word, and again a bit metaphorical, but I think in this sense a bit easier to pick up
But
the
also,
more general meaning.
this song is very. There's lots of rhymes, and like it speaks very well to the music. Like it's so musical. Like his voice is going from high to low, and he
Yeah.
had to choose the words very carefully, I think.
Yes.
So it's not that easy to just go through the words as they are.
Yes, I agree. And one more thing. He says it's almost the last sentence. Ganja, please. Ganja is like a direct reference to the marijuana, right?
Yeah.
So does the end then, the end, you must have been out of your mind, so ganja, please. Does it mean that it's kind of a scream for something to put you in to put you in the high state, to scream, to give me some ganja because I can't stand this hypocrisy? Or it's perhaps call for this hypocrites to just get something, to get high because they can't be in this state any longer, or they've been called out in a lie. How would you work out the end?
That's a good question. I'm trying to read the whole last part.
There are some repeated.
So I'm not sure I got the muddy waters right analogy at the first time. So I'm not sure if I'm reading this right. But eyeballs deep in muddy waters, and then your balls deep in muddy waters. So you whole are deep in muddy waters. Does it mean like, is muddy waters basically bad deeds, like lying, stealing, whatever, drinking too much, and so on and so forth? If so, that's my guess now. If so, I don't know what means ganja, please. It could be just as simple as I said before. It's like putting too much bad to some of the things, but not to the others for some reason, and there are reasons.
Yeah, I like that. I like it as a symbol.
As a symbol,
like
yeah,
what
and
it
this
says.
is like very popular in pop culture. The ganja versus alcohol. It's just so popular, like this
Yeah.
duo, like dichotomy, I think it's called, like
Okay.
treating those substances so differently on the societal level.
Yeah, but also depends where,
Depends where, of course, yeah, and it's changing. So
Yeah, exactly. In any event, I really like, and especially this. I'd say there is a bit of a symbolism as well with this ganja, please. You must have been out of your mind. The eyeballs deep in muddy waters. It can be some bad deeds, or it can be the actual reference to the state you're in. You're acting as you're high, if not to say crazy, right? That's why your eyeballs deep in muddy waters. Who knows? In any event, I really enjoyed that. It was quite enjoyable. It put me into a different mood, I'd say, from the moods I've been in when listening to previous songs. It's not as emotional, I'd say, as Wings for Mari. It's hard to beat Wings for Mari, I think, and part 1 and part 2, which is 10,000 Days song. But I really enjoyed it, and it struck me out, from the very beginning. Like you said, then there's a lot of differences on the musical level. There's this going ups and downs. There was one point when there was a lengthy, just the musical kind of a change, which I also really liked, which could express this kind of previous note. You must have been high, and this state of hypocrisy again.
and it's catchy, like
It
really
is.
catchy. You
Yeah.
can sing it. You can like sing it, chime it, probably after just one hearing. It's very. You can like
I probably wouldn't, but you
Yeah.
probably can already.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna listen to it a few more times, that's probably what's gonna naturally happen. But I can tell it is something that just
Sticks with you.
sticks with you in the sense that you're more likely to just sing it, right? As deep as it is in terms of the lyrics and in terms of the message it sends you, because I really like the message as well. I think I'm quite happy with our interpretation. Let me know what you think. We may, gone on completely wrong, but I genuinely don't think it has, other than this general hypocrisy, it has a lot to do with Wings for Mary and 10,000 Days song. I think it's slightly different. We are going to a slightly different type of the message that should be presented. When you think of it as one of album, as one whole album though, you think how from singing Wings for Mary and 10,000 Days, you can just sing the pot, which is so strong and so completely different. That's also quite interesting.
And
How
yet
could
it
he-
still mentions some of the same concepts like hypocrisy.
But there's a stress upon hypocrisy, so maybe there will be further expansion of this. I wanted to say bad stuff in the human nature, but then when you think about the whole 10,000 Days album, there was a lot of stuff in 10,000 Days, a lot of deep stuff, the vicarious as well. So it's like the whole thing, the Jambi as well.
Yeah, pretty much all the songs.
I really like this album, I really like it. It's different. It's different from previous ones, and it's so colorful in the sense that it sends so many different messages, but yet still keeps you in this deep. Still maintains the deep thought process each song, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
And yeah, what are we going to listen next week then?
So I think the next one, except like very short not songs, is Rosetta Stone, which we already went through, and I think it was our first song on this channel. So I was gonna say we can do it again.
I know you
Just
like
to
that.
keep with the whole 10,000 Days album, just not to, because first time you listened to it, it was completely out of the context. Now it could be in the context of the album.
It can be, yeah. And we had, after the pod, we have Lipan Conjuring. Is it something
I think it's just a short.
short? So then we will have Lost Keys and Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
Well, it fits here, but let me know what you think. It's not going to be the first reaction though, so I'm not sure how.
It could
What are
be,
your thoughts on that?
maybe it could be even more interesting because it's not a first reaction.
Do you know if there's any actual video to those songs? Maybe with the video, because I've never watched the actual video with these songs. So if there is one, maybe in this way. Alternatively, we have then Intention, Right Into, and Virginity Dress. So perhaps these songs would follow, just so we could conclude nicely 10,000 Days album. The more I think of it, the more I think that the whole album is so fulfilled, so grown, so good. Vicarious, Jambi, Wings for Mary, 10,000 Days. Oh,
Pretty much every song is
I know,
very
I know.
like it leaves
Excuse me.
a mark.
Yeah,
Like every single song,
Yeah.
it's so I think like you said, colorful, bright.
yeah, at different marks, but it's still like, yeah, if we are using the colors as a metaphor, it's so colorful, yet it's still on the same palette.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so yeah, let us know what you think and see you next week. Again, I hope you're gonna have a lovely Christmas. It's probably really
Is it gonna
difficult
be
for...
after the new year, the next one? Yeah.
Yeah, it will be, I should say Happy New Year.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it's gonna look like wherever you are from. Here, that there's not gonna be much to do on the New Year. Everything is still closed. We are still under lockdown, so try to enjoy what we have and see you in 2021.
That's well said. Thank you.
Thank you.